is a 600 to 700 word original story in English, inspired by the scene in the image. A lesson in quiet courage, 670 words. The afternoon sun filtered softly through the tall windows of the old manor, casting warm patterns across the polished wooden floor. A gentle hush filled the room, a respectful silence that always seemed to accompany important gatherings. The walls, lined with framed paintings and ornate vases, felt like silent witnesses to the lives and conversations that had passed before them. At the center of the room stood an elegant older woman in a light blue dress. Her posture was steady, her expression thoughtful. Though her presence carried an air of dignity, there was a warmth to her eyes, a kind of kindness that made people lean in a little closer when she spoke. Beside her stood another woman, younger, dressed in a deep magenta dress and navy blazer. She held a folder of papers, but her attention was fixed entirely on the older woman, listening with a soft, encouraging smile. "I've learned a lot today," the older woman said, her voice calm but sincere. "More than I expected, actually." Those words carried weight. It was not often that someone in her position admitted to learning from others. But she believed in acknowledging truth, even if it was humbling. The gathering had been organized to bring attention to local community workers, ordinary people who carried extraordinary burdens every day. Teachers, caregivers, social workers, volunteers, many had shared stories that morning, stories of loss, hope, struggle, and resilience. Some had spoken confidently, others nervously. But each voice had added something important to the room. The younger woman, Emma, stepped forward gently. "We're grateful you came," she said. "It means a lot to everyone." "It is I who should be grateful," the older woman replied. "Listening to all of you, it reminds me how much strength lives quietly in the world." Emma nodded. She had spent years working with families who faced hardships, children who needed protection, parents trying to rebuild their lives, communities healing from trauma. Her job had taught her that bravery didn't always look bold or loud, sometimes it looked like someone waking up each morning and simply deciding to keep trying. "I remember when I first started this work," Emma said softly. "I thought I had to fix everything. Then I realized my job wasn't to save people, it was to stand beside them while they saved themselves." A gentle smile tugged at the older woman's lips. A powerful lesson. A few other workers stood nearby, listening. Some nodded, some wiped their eyes. The stories shared earlier in the day had been emotional, and the atmosphere still carried traces of those feelings, like the lingering scent of rain after a storm. The older woman looked around the room slowly, thoughtfully. "I hope each of you knows how important you are," she said. "People often celebrate grand achievements, public victories, and famous figures. But the truth is that real change begins with people like you, people who show up quietly, day after day, with compassion." Emma lowered her gaze for a moment, touched. Compliments didn't come often in her line of work. Most days were filled with problems, reports, and crises. But hearing these words reminded her why she had chosen this path. "Sometimes," she admitted, "we feel invisible." "You are not invisible," the older woman said firmly. "You shine in ways the world does not always see, but desperately needs." The room grew still again, this time not from formality, but from the simple weight of being understood. A soft chime echoed from the tall wooden clock in the corner, marking the hour. The event was nearly over. A few workers moved to gather their belongings, but they lingered, reluctant to break the moment. The older woman clasped her hands gently. "I came here hoping to offer support," she said. "Instead, you have given me something far greater, perspective." Emma felt her heart warm. "And what will you take with you from today?" "Courage," the older woman replied. "Not the kind that wins battles or headlines, but the kind I saw in every face here. The courage to care, even when it is difficult. The courage to hope, even when it feels impossible." She paused, then added softly, "You have taught me that silence can hold strength, and small actions can change lives." Emma smiled, a smile full of gratitude, respect, and newfound resolve. And in that quiet, sunlit room, surrounded by ordinary heroes, both women knew that the lessons of the day would not soon be forgotten. "If you want, I can also create a shorter story, a dramatic version, or a motivational version."